send those images? Are you going to send those images out?
I don't think so.
No.
I really don't. I try not to sing so.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was curious when I looked up there and saw this.
if somebody wants to follow, I don't care about that. We have to release it. All right, guys, I guess we can start. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Greg Savage, and I'm the Chief of Police in the town of Eden. Yesterday, we sent out a press release, and I'd like to follow that up today. I don't have a whole lot of more information to provide today, but I just want to recap what's already been sent out and maybe answer some questions if I'm able to. The Eden Police Department is investigating a series of criminal mischiefs that have occurred on Hillbrook Drive right here in the town of Eden. Last year, a resident there had a subject come to his house to deliver a message to him. You can see an image of that subject on our Facebook page, the Edentown Police Department Facebook page. He told that resident that he had disrespected somebody on the street and that he wanted them to apologize. The resident did not know what he was talking about, and he told him that. The subject left without incident. He didn't do anything further. We've identified that guy. He's from Cheektowaga. He's a 52-year-old subject from Cheektowaga. On October 12th of last year, at about 4:45 a.m., an object was thrown through the front window of a Hillbrook Drive resident's house. Video surveillance showed that subject arriving and leaving in a small dark-colored SUV. On October 23rd, just a little over a week later, the resident who had received the visit and the warning had an object thrown through the front window of his house. That same resident had 3 more objects thrown at his house over the next several months, the last one being on March 6th. On March 28th, Edentown Supervisor Melissa Hartman, who lives on Hillbrook, several houses from where the other houses were targeted, had a simulated explosive device thrown through her front window. There was some writing on that device that made reference to her political campaign and some of the things politically that have happened here in Eden and in the recent history. The last incident was on, what did I say, March 6th. We have been working since then. We've reached out to assistance from other agencies. We've been working with the district attorney's office since we started. We've been, conversing with them and getting guidance from them in the way we're conducting our investigation. We, at this point, we have some video surveillance. I cannot say that we have a suspect or a person of interest at this time. We are continuing to gather information and talk to people, and we are trying very hard, as are some of the, we've also reached out for assistance from the Erie County Sheriff's Office. I spoke to the sheriff last week. He offered his assistance to us. I've spoken to the New York State Police. They are also offering assistance, as well as the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. I have some clips here that you can see exactly what happened. On a couple of them, I don't have everything, but all incidents are very similar. What you'll see here, the vehicle is already here. The subject has left the vehicle and he ran up onto the front lawn and he threw an object through the front window of the house. And then he drove away.
We see that one again, please. October 21?
23rd. This is another shot. You'll see the vehicle come by the house. It goes to the dead end, turns around, comes back. Subject exits the vehicle and throws the object through the window.
That was the same incident from just a different camera?
Yes. The damage from that incident that you just saw, this is the end result of that. That's the inside of the house. The object that was thrown is under that picture. It knocked the lamp over, went through the glass window on the screen.
Chief, is that the object under that one
It is.
picture? Okay, it's like a bolt.
It's a large steel eye bolt. Looks like, and I'm not sure, but it looks like something that comes with a new car that you can screw it in to be used as like an attachment or a tow point on the car. This is what we've determined that we believe it is. This is a still. We don't have great stills, but that is a still shot. It looks like a small, dark-colored SUV. And we're working on trying to identify the vehicle. On March 28th at Supervisor Hartman's house, this is a video of the subject throwing the object. He approaches the house from the street. The last three incidents, I believe, the suspect arrived on foot. He did not arrive in a vehicle. He cut through some yards. We think he had a vehicle possibly on another street or was picked up somewhere. He did not arrive on Hillbrook in a vehicle.
Could you replay that one more time?
Yeah.
So replay that.
I'm sorry?
Could you replay it, please?
And you see him arriving in the shot? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, that's when the camera first picked it up. Still shot if you want. Probably one of the better images we have of the suspect.
Is there no sound on this video?
I'm not sure if it didn't record sound or if it, I don't know. This is all we have on this one. There is no sound on the video clip. This is the suspect on 3/6 of this year, walking down the road prior to throwing one of the objects through one of the houses. Again, the same suspect from a different angle, same day, walking down to where he threw the object. It's a still shot that we have of the suspect vehicle. And I believe, we believe this is the suspect vehicle doing a drive-by without throwing anything at the house. He does kind of a slow roll, stops, and then continues on. He does not get out. He does not throw anything.
Do you mind playing that one more time, sir?
Seems to trigger the motion sensor light on the house.
Yes,
Maybe that spooked him or something.
could have been. So those are all the clips that I have today to show you, and I'll take questions.
Do you believe this is all one person? This is all the same suspect?
We don't have a suspect yet. We're assuming it probably is, but we do not know that for sure. We do not know that for sure. I mean, as you can see from the video, it's hard to identify that person. There could be more than one person involved, but at this point, we don't know.
So this would be
What would you
different
say,
from-
what would you say if, someone asked you, to identify this potential suspect? What do you know about that individual? How would you describe that individual
Well, he appears to be a tall or thin white male. He's always taken steps. He's either got the hoodie up, and sometimes he had the face mask on. It's really hard to identify. He looks like a white male, hard to determine his age, hard to determine, really his height, because it's hard in that video to relate his height to anything else around. We've given this video to some video experts who are going to try and do some stuff with it and see if we can at least come up with some heights, types of vehicles, things like that. But right now, we do not have a suspect.
Can you, just to clarify that, there was the first incident. How many incidents total, including the supervisor then? How many homes? Six incidents. And how many homes?
Three.
Three.
One at one home, 4 at one home, and 1 at the supervisor's house.
Then the 52-year-old individual from Chief Dewaga you mentioned was involved, you think, in the initial incidents.
I'm not saying that he was involved in one of the acts of criminal mischief. We believe he is the guy, and you'll see him on our Facebook page, who came to the resident who had 4 items thrown through his house. This is in August, prior to that. He came to the residence and he pretty much told this guy, you apologized, you were looking for an apology. He made no threat to him. He didn't say, do it or else. He just said, give him an apology and all will be forgotten. And he left. I mean, even if we had that individual, and I believe we know who he is, at this point, we do not have enough to charge him with any crime.
Does he live near, in terms of proximity to where these homes are, and really also with the supervisor's home, are they spaced pretty far apart? Are they pretty close?
Are you talking about the people?
Right, the 3 homes.
They are there's a couple houses. You have the supervisor's house, there's another house next to him, or next to her. The next house had 4 incidents. There's another house, and the house after that was the first one that was hit, and they've had 1 incident.
Is there a relationship between the 3 houses that you can?
Other than the fact that they're neighbors and they know each other, we haven't seen any other relationship, between them. I mean, it's just the fact.
The supervisor's initial response was, political in nature. I mean, do you feel that it's?
The only object that was thrown that had any kind of writing or message attached to it was the one that came through the supervisors. It didn't enter the house, it shattered the window, and it fell onto some patio furniture that was in the front. But that one contained some writing, and it made reference to her political campaign. I don't want to put out exactly what was written on it, but there were several things written on it. One of them makes reference to her political campaign, and I believe there's another reference that I would interpret it to be some legal things and law that are being enacted here by the town board in the town of Eden.
Were the other 2 homes anyone associated with the campaign of the supervisor?
They were not. They were not.
I know you probably, so you can't show us that device then that hit the supervisor's
No.
house. Can you at least approximate it in terms of size, or because that's a lot of writing on there if it had all that on it? Because it was initially described as
I'll say every component, every part of the component that was thrown at her house would have been a component of a pipe bomb, except it was not a live device. But there was nothing there that you would not have used to make a real pipe bomb.
And it had all this writing on it?
There was like 3 messages written on it.
The first incident involving the man from Chief Dewaga, what was he looking for an apology in regards to?
He told the resident that he had disrespected someone on that street, and that he knew who that was, and that he needed to apologize to those people.
Have officers spoken with him? That person, the Chief Dewaga
Yes,
resident?
we have spoken to him. He denies being the person who came to the house.
The simulated pipe bomb, you said it had all the components that would be used, but could it have actually been made active with what was on it?
No, it was not a live device. It was an inert device. It contained no explosive. And it wasn't and even without the explosive, it wasn't a complete device minus the explosive, but every component that was there could have been used. A few more things had to been added to it, but it could have been made into a live device.
You were able to say that it had like wiring or
I don't want to get into
incendiary-
the details of it, but I will say that every part of what was thrown could be, if you were going to make a real pipe bomb, those components were part of it.
So if you had to kind of sum this up, I mean, it goes from initially, I guess, a neighborhood dispute or some kind of dispute between two individuals, the first incident, but then it seems to escalate.
It does.
But again, you don't even know if this is the same person, because obviously the 52-year-old does not look like the other individual in the videos. So you're not, it's kind of unclear here.
Well, and look, for me, looking at the videos, I wouldn't rule out that he may be one of those people. It's hard to tell from what we have. The video just is not that clear.
From here, right as the investigation goes, you obviously have this surveillance evidence. This is best you hope for in terms of.
Well, and again, I don't want to really speak about, what we're doing investigative-wise. We've got other agencies involved with us. The sheriff's office is helping out. State police are helping. ATF is helping. We've got a couple different things going on, but I'm just not at liberty today to discuss them.
Given that it is a simulated type bomb, does that introduce federal charges in the event of an arrest?
The fact that it was not a live device, I think, could have bearing on that. I've spoken to the ATF. I've spoken to the FBI. The FBI said that what's going on here does not qualify for their federal, like a terrorism type statute at this point. That may change. I don't know. The ATF then, because it, simulated device, are involved. And I'm not sure. We're working together. We've got a couple different things going on, and we're just trying to identify this person right now. That's our main goal.
All of this video comes from houses on that street.
That's correct.
Have you looked at any video from surrounding streets?
We have, yes. And we have some. And we have some video of the vehicle from different places. Right now, there's cameras everywhere. We're catching a lot of video, but you can see from the quality of some of it, it's not that great that you can actually make an identification from it. It's giving us some leads and some ideas on which way to go, and that's what we're doing now, working with the district attorney's office. I spoke with them again this morning. They're helping us out. They're giving us guidance, and I can say the investigation is moving forward.
So you're kind of backtracking where this individual may have come from by, he was here, and maybe we saw him on another street, and we just keep spreading out.
I think he has, after the first few incidents, he's taken some precautions to, again, not approaching by car, leaving the car somewhere else, or being dropped off and picked up. We're working on those aspects also. And again, I hate to not provide a lot, but there's just not a lot of information to give right now.
What would you say, well, first off, may I ask, were there past incidents in that neighborhood, Hillbrook Drive, before this transpired, I guess, last October?
We've had, minor things going on, but nothing that I can see right now that we can definitively connect to any of these incidents.
So what would you say then to the residents of that street who probably were aware of all this, but, and are there things, I know I'm not asking you to get into exact details of what you're doing, but are there ways you're trying to protect them? Do you have patrols?
I knew that would come up, and
Okay.
I really don't want to discuss security measures that have been taken, because I think that's kind of counterproductive to the security measures themselves. So security measures have been taken, and we've got increased patrols. We have done some things, and you know what, these people are afraid. The people on Hillbrook Drive are afraid, and they have every right to be afraid, because this is not good stuff that's going on here, and it's continuing. After one or two, we thought, well, it's not going to happen again, and it's continued to happen. And we are concerned that it is going to continue to happen. So we are doing everything we can do. Believe me when I tell you, I'm not hesitant to reach out for help. We have talked to everybody who is, has any capability to assist us with this, and they are. And we're working on it. We're going forward. I can say that the investigation is moving forward, and we are trying to identify a suspect.
Chief, to that point, it seems like it's a nice, quiet residential area. Families live there. Were you surprised that it's gotten to the point that it is now?
I'm absolutely surprised. I've really never seen a situation evolve like this, and start out and just continue to escalate and get worse. As I said, the first objects didn't have anything written on it. The last one did. You know, so to me, that's an escalation. The fact that the other objects were sort of inert, as was the one at Supervisor Hartman's house, but that one contained components that could have been used to build a real explosive device.
The one object said was like an eye bolt. What were the other objects? The one, not the fake bomb?
Well, I can tell you, there were 2 eye bolts. There were some other, I would just call them metal objects. I don't want to, because what we're looking to do, if we have somebody coming forward with information, we want to be able to know that their information is correct. So if they have something they can tell us that has not been released, that would be valuable to us. There were metal objects in one case. In another case, I could tell you it was like a rock, like either a chunk of cement or a rock itself that was thrown.
So to just clarify, the initial incident was apparently some kind of dispute between the person who approached the homeowner, but then the last incident was strictly political. Were the other incidents, did they?
I don't want to say it's political. It's not my job to label it whether it's political or not.
Yeah.
All I know, I'm here to deliver the facts. Again, I can't tell you what was written on it. We don't want to let that out right now. But in my opinion, that it was intended to intimidate and to try to coerce her into some, whatever their motive is, I'm not exactly sure. But there were messages on there that referred to her political campaign and to some of the political stuff that's going on in the town of Eden right now.
And there's been no similar incidents on other streets or other parts of the town?
We've had nothing else like this that I'm aware of. I mean, in recent history. I've only been here a little less than 2 years.
As a supervisor, when you go through houses, have they received weird texts, weird phone calls, and any other incidents that you know
Nope,
of?
she is not.
No threats?
Nope. Not that I'm aware of. I know she mentioned some things, and I think what she referred to was just, Facebook stuff that gets posted. When anybody announces that they're running for an office, you've got a lot of people on Facebook now making comments.
Talk about the video. I mean, the people submitting this video, I mean, even though you don't see anybody, it helps a lot, doesn't it?
It certainly does. I mean, it gives us an idea of exactly what happened, and it kind of leads us in certain directions with the investigation. I wish some of it was clearer. I wish we were able to, make an identification off of it, but so far we have not been able to do that.
Was that the one where we actually saw it crashing through the window and knocking things down? Was that the worst one that you've seen? Or
Damage-wise?
Yeah.
There was 3 of them that were probably equal to that. I'd say 3 of them. The first couple, this guy was very accurate with his throwing, put him right through the window. I think there was probably about number 3 or 4 where he didn't hit the window. He hit the house, or it hit the window and it didn't break. There was the screen slowed it down and it bounced off, and then the objects were found outside. The first one didn't go through a window. It went through the front door, the window on the front door of the house. That was the one incident at that residence that came through right through the front door.
Thank you.
All right.
Chief, are they, you say, I'm just asking, we were told by the campaign manager, Ms. Hartman, they were doing quote-unquote forensics. Is that on this device? Was that the ATF involvement, the sheriff